I'm back here in the prep room, and I've been getting a lot of requests from people wanting to know about cosmetics and what kind we use, what brands we use, how much we use. So today I'm going to do a brief overview of the cosmetics that we use on a day-to-day basis at the funeral homes that I encounter the most, and from other funeral directors and embalmers that I encounter as well. I've gotten some tips from them, so I'm going to share those with you today on a person, because we always get people that say don't use makeup, they didn't wear makeup, don't use makeup. Well, what they don't want to see is the cakey and the powders and all of that. But the color, we need to try and balance out their color so they look more lifelike. You know, that's kind of why you do the presentation that you do for the embalming and everything is for a more lifelike visual. Hey, so I'm back here in the prep room, and I've been getting a lot of requests from people wanting to know about cosmetics and what kind we use, what brands we use, how much we use. So today I'm going to do a brief overview of the cosmetics that we use on a day-to-day basis at the funeral homes that I encounter the most, and from other funeral directors and embalmers that I encounter as well. I've gotten some tips from them, so I'm going to share those with you today. So, some of the first items that I am going to show you, this is what is called a tint. This is my go-to item when it comes to doing any type of cosmetic, even on individuals that were doing final views for cremations. I'm going to tell you why. So this gives just a very brief flesh tone color to a skin. It is very, as you can see, it's very liquidy, it's very runny. It is literally just water with a little bit of a dye in it. Obviously there's more than just that, but that's essentially what it looks like. And what we use this for is just to give rosy or whatever color tint we want to the skin without it looking cosmetized. So like for cremation, final viewings, what happens after a body lays for a day or two is all of the color dissipates out of the skin because of gravity. It will go, to the back of the body, so the person is very, very pale. So I will use this for a final view just to give a little bit of a rosy hue to the person during that final view, so they don't look so dead, I guess, without lack of better words. And that way they don't also appear that they have makeup on for that final view time. Then we also have foundations. Now these, you may go into a preparation room and you may find, CoverGirl and Oil of Olay and Mary Kay and all different types of brands of cosmetics, and each funeral director really gets their own handle for what they like to use, and they develop their own system over time. They may use this brand for this color and this brand for this color and layer it in these such ways. Everybody gets their own tricks of how they do it, which is totally what you do throughout the whole process. You use the fluids you like, you use the makeup that you like, you use the caskets that you like, so you kind of find your niche of what you like to use, which is why there's different brands. That's the same way with anything you do in life. You may use this type of olive oil when you cook, or this type of mustard, or you just find what you like to use and what you like to have around, and that's what you have. So there are though materials and makeup that is created just for the deceased. Some of them have built-in moisturizer for deceased skin to help keep it from dehydrating, and some of it is powder that's for deceased skin. So there's some that have been created just for the environment that exists on a deceased person's flesh. So this All right, so this is the Dodge and makeup kit, and most funeral homes will have this makeup kit within it because it comes with powder, lip colors, highlighting colors, foundations, comes with some wax, some liquid foundations. It comes with a variety of things that you need to do cosmetics. So like the lip color, okay, let's see. We've got lip color. It comes with a color that is pretty universal for everybody. And we're not trying to create a lipstick effect. We're trying to just give a hue of lip tone because lips lose their rosiness, they lose their coloring a lot of times first. And so just giving a little color back is key. A lot of people try and paint the lips too much and go all the way out to the edges, but if you look at your lip does not go all the way out to the corner with the color. So it's really focusing on what is natural with a person when we're doing cosmetics, but I'm sure if you've been to a funeral home that does bad cosmetics, you'll notice the clown effect where the lips are all the way out painted and they're all the way up to the weather, past the weather line. And that weather line is where you can see the darkened a little bit from the weather, essentially, from your exposure to the elements. And so you have to make sure you're not getting all the way out and around that area. So then we've got all sorts of shades of foundations. They are, I'm going to try and get a brush here. Kind of what that looks like, how thick that is. It is definitely thicker than your normal foundation. Let's see if it's gonna work. It comes in all different colors. So there's really dark browns for blending for different skin tones. You know, if you go to a funeral home that does predominantly African American funerals, you're obviously going to have different colors in bulk than you would Caucasian, predominantly Caucasian serviced funeral homes. And it's just kind of what you typically use is based on your clientele. But you need to have kind of variety as well because you do never know who you're going to hopefully care for. But there's all sorts of shading and coloring, and you know, if you pay attention to anything, you've got the Kardashians and all of them who shading has become such a big thing. There's a million YouTube videos on how to shade and how to use, 20 different colors on your face to make your nose thinner and your brows higher and your cheeks arched. And so some of that we use within the funeral home as well to navigate through, someone's looks a lot heavier because of edema, or if there's reconstructive that we need to do, that we need to use heavy cosmetics and use the shading and things, and we can try and create the visual through makeup that we need to achieve. So there's a lot of different colors and shades of things, all sorts of different peaches and yellows. So we also use the color wheel quite a bit. So if someone is jaundiced, which their skin is yellowed from liver damage or kidney failure, then you're going to want to combat that with a red color. Because if you look on the color wheel, you go across the color wheel, and that's the color that kind of neutralizes it out. And then you build on top of that. So like if you have a lot of people, if you get rosacea or you've got acne, if you use a yellowish or a greenish makeup first before you put on your foundation, you'll neutralize out hopefully that red and then build up your coloring from there. So it's definitely an art and a craft to do some of this and to do the restorative part of it, because you do have to blend and layer your coloring and kind of create that end visual that you want with warm spots and highlights, because our skin is not all one color. And I think that's another big error that people make, is they just, okay, this is what color I should be using. They paint the whole face that color, throw in a little lip, and then go. But your body is not all one color. Your hands are not the same color as your face. Your hands have highlights, your knuckles and your veins and things, they're brighter red. That's where you have more circulation. That's where you're more weathered. So having those areas kind of pop a little more, it does make a big difference in the visual. And cleaning up the makeup afterwards, making sure there's no makeup in the hairline and in the eyebrows and in the lashes makes a huge difference. So I know another brand that I've been hearing about in our profession is using lip scents. So do you know anybody that uses lips or that sells lip scents? Get a sample from them and try it at your funeral home, because it has such stay power when it comes to touching and rubbing on the face. When it comes to deceased bodies, it works well for hands and things where people are touching and wanting to rub. But if you've had to use a lot of cosmetic because of bruising, you're going to want something with a little more stay power, essentially. One other type of cosmetic that is very popular, because you can also do the heavy layering, especially with restoration, is on Airbrush System. I have not really used one very much, so it's not an area I am well versed on. I am going to point you, if you'd like to learn more about the airbrushing, to go over to a video by professional embalmer Matt Smith, and I'll put the link down in the description of this video. And he has a video about airbrushing cosmetics. And a lot of people like airbrushing because when you do heavy restoration after an accident, you typically use a lot of wax when it comes to that. And so filling the wound, rebuilding facial features, rebuilding cheeks, ears, chins, everything, we would use wax. And so trying to cosmetize over the wax without getting brush strokes or losing little bristles from the brush within the wax, you get a better finish when you use the airbrush. And so check out his video. It's definitely what you want to use if you do heavy restorations a lot. I do not do heavy restorations a lot of the time, so I use my basic makeup that I'm really comfortable using and on basic restorations. So I have a lot to learn from Matt about using the airbrush system, and I've never been at a funeral home that really has an airbrush. So that's kind of my next step of where I'm going to learn more, as we're always learning within this business. And so that's going to be my next thing, is to learn more about the airbrushing. So hope you guys learned a little bit about cosmetics and just an insight onto what we use here at the funeral home. I'll check you guys on my next video, and if you want to make sure not to miss the next video, make sure you subscribe. Bye.